rebellion charges are now being prepared against MNLF gunmen involved in the siege of Zamboanga City. DILG Secretary Roxas said the armed followers of Nur Miswari committed criminal offenses in infiltrating several barangays in Zamboanga City since September 9. They took about 200 civilians as human shields and set ablaze more or less 900 residential structures. Roxas said arson, illegal possession of firearms, murder, and burning 900 houses constitute rebellion. More from Jorge Bandola.
Rebellion charges in violation of international humanitarian law will be filed against the arrested members of the MNLF Miswari faction. The DILG Secretary Roxas says at least 70 cases have been filed so far against the Muslim rebels who are now under the government's custody. While the government prosecutors are busy looking at cases against the perpetrators of the siege, Secretary Roxas belies report that President Aquino may be in Zamboanga, but he is into hiding. Roxas says the president does not want the security plan in Zamboanga divided if he decides to roam around. At the Crisis Management Committee briefing, Roxas assures the Zamboangueños that slowly but surely the government troops are gaining control over the barangays previously inhabited by the MNLF rebels. Roxas said that around 70% of these villages are now under clearing operations for landmines, explosives, and other MNLF paraphernalia. Meanwhile, Secretary Dinky Siluman appeals to media to report only the real situation, the government's action to address the problem, and not sensationalizing the very few people's misery. Soliman was emotional when she criticized how the private media are carrying out the stories from Zamboanga. To date, the numbers of evacuees continue to rise, with 109,386 individuals taking shelter at 35 evacuation centers. While the government forces suffered 14 killed in action and 117 wounded, on the other hand, 86 members of the MNLF was killed during the 10-day siege. 93 more were arrested or surrendered. The Crisis Management Committee determines that they are still accounting for some 50 to 60 rebels still hiding in Barangay Santa Catalina in Santa Barbara. The government also accounted for a total of 178 freed hostages, while 21 more are still in captivity. From Zamboanga City with Eddie Arellano, Julius Pasayon, and Joel Mamaril, for People's Television, Jorge Bandola.